on the outside. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
With beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
I'm on the outside.
Vitamin G, got what you need.
all alone.
Vitamin G. Hey, final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Try run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as they head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's by smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right out the sea. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see they start crumbling now. Mad struck start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Plot glitz, know they love how it freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them doors on the duty. I'm in stick, see, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See, my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tune into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
Always something. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 250 of the Vitamin G podcast. I am your host, Pharaoh, and with me so far, I have Omar, Zero, and he's appearing a lot more often now, Kofi, which is good to see. Always good to have my buddy Kofi around. And I'm sure Drew Bay is strolling. Not too sure about Nappy this week. I know he's been having some R&R, which everyone's entitled to. But let's talk about some games, man. Daryl, how you been? What you been playing, man? Up. All right, we're gonna skip Zero. We're gonna move on to Omar. How you been, man? What you been playing?
What up? Good to be back. Oh yeah, what have I been playing? I got the plot for Cat Quest 1 and 2. Great games, as always. I'm forward to playing 3. I also got the plot for Nobody Want to Die.
Okay.
Basically, it's a detective game. It's a first-person crime-solving game where I don't want to spoil it because the concept by itself is unique and fresh, in my opinion, and it just works. It's on the shorter side, but it's also cheaper. I think $20 or something like that. All by all, I highly recommend it. It got a fantastic story that have replayability if you want to get the best ending. and generally a likable main character and a tight character. As for the villain, yeah, this one was a doozy when it comes to the story. Also, it's close to being on rails. Like, it's linear. It's super linear. You don't go anywhere else besides the area that you're in, and then you go to the next area and so forth. But I do highly recommend it. I'm also playing. I started Cult of the Lamb.
Okay.
It's it's a roguelite with basically you're a cult leader and you have a cult members and they die and you keep getting new ones and you need to beat 4 main bosses.
Yeah, I
The
think I
story is
remember either Kofi. I think Kofi or Zero played that one.
I'm not sure. The story is superficial. There is nothing to write home about, but the combat is fun. However, most of the time you're gonna be spending your time on is monetizing and making sure that your cult members aren't dying. You gotta feed them. You gotta make to clean after them after they poop, and you gotta it got not that gore, but it got a little bit of gore, like the death scenes and stuff like that. I do recommend it, but yeah, that's about it for me.
All right, all right, all right. Let's see if our buddy Kofi's ready to talk. Kofi, how you been? What you been playing, man?
What up, guys? It's a little bit straightforward for me. It's been a whole ton of Remnant too. I've also, I did play some Stellar Blade. I think since I was last on the cast, I missed you guys last week, I believe.
Yeah.
Remnant 2 has been a real great staple for me because I had taken a serious break from it like maybe last January when I just had been playing it too much. I said I need to get into the rest of my backlog, but I missed the DLC, and that came out in March, and I still haven't finished it. Zero and I are playing it with another friend, but the community is really, really great. And so I ended up, Zero, you might be excited to hear this. I ended up teaming up with a guy from the Remnant 2 Facebook group, and we ran through and finished the game on hardcore. So I was able to unlock the very difficult gun in the game called Savior.
Wow,
I-
congratulations!
Can I be a part of this group? Because I'm looking to try to get the Savior.
Absolutely. I can link you up with him. We ended up doing like a speed run all together. We all created new characters, and then we all died on the third world. So we did Geisha, we did Lonesome, we did the Cube and Ingress, and then we died in Narud. It was like, no.
You did the cube and you died in the road.
Yeah, right, exactly. We did the Cube, and then we died in Narud. And then we ran it all back. And then when we ran it back, we got a harder reroll because we had to do the DLC in Geisha and the DLC in Lonesome, which are they're just longer campaigns.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up. Yes.
Did you get carried? I gotta ask. Or
So
were
the
you
guy-
able to pull your way through as
The
well?
guy played as a carrier, but then he started to struggle. So then we all started to contribute because he was like, "Oh, I'll carry you," and I was like, let's see how this goes." Then he kind of got to the first boss. He was like, can you actually join in the fight?" And it ended up that I created a brand new character to team up with him.
Good.
So it was a great experience. I'm really good at certain bosses and I'm bad at others. Like against Annihilation, I'm pretty good because I can memorize the sound. He uses a sound effect when he attacks. That's really good. But like I'm bad at there's a boss in Putrid Domain that looks like a rat king, like from The Last of Us Part 2. And I just am not good against that thing. That thing will knock me down over and over and over. His hitbox, I can't read it.
Is that DLC?
No, that's in the core game in Narud. He's not the final boss. He's just like a maybe first half boss in Narud.
Okay.
You probably played him. He's like a big ball of bodies. and he just runs at you and he rolls and he's just really annoying.
No, I don't recall ever playing them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
yeah.
working on getting a corrupted version of Savior. Basically, there's these corrupted shards you can get. This is more for the listeners. I know Omar and Zero know this. And then the corrupted version of Savior works like Savior in the original game, Omar. The minigun, secret gun from the original, from the Ashes, is
Mhm.
what the corrupted version of Savior in Remnant
Yeah,
2 runs like.
but you need to
Go
make sure because I heard there is a bug that making Savior not work well. So I'm not sure if the corrupted is impacted by it.
Okay, I saw that there was some patches that came out, but I don't know if maybe it addressed that
Yeah,
or
you
not.
gotta make sure before switching to Savior because if you do, if you make it corrupted, I don't recall if you can make it uncorrupted, right?
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, how do I uncorrupt Savior? I'm not
I
sure
don't
how to
think
do
you
that.
can. I don't have that. I don't think you can, which
Ooh,
is one of the main issue for me in Remnant, because not every corrupted is a better version than the other one.
correct.
So if you corrupt a weapon and it's less better than the previous one, you're basically fucked.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, you could go back on the other ones. You can go back on Sorrow or Deceit or Arbalest, but Savior's different because you don't craft it. You just get it from
Mm.
Gravis, and
Oh,
that's why I'm a
but
little bit concerned.
if you get it, do you keep your own savior or does it become corrupted?
It becomes corrupted. Well,
Ah,
well, well, I would assume I haven't corrupted it yet because I only have 7 shards and I need 10, so I haven't been able to try.
okay.
Yeah, I've been farming it, playing with some. I've ran into some great randos, and I ran into some really bad randos. Oh, but what I wanted to say really quick: the community overall in Remnant, just people's willingness to help out and fight bosses together is really great. It reminds me of what I've heard about Warframe. And in this Facebook group, I'll link you up, Reggie. It's really it's been really
I,
great.
I have a question to you, Kofi. How did you get back to the cycle? Because you broke it. Because when I beat Remnant 2, I started playing in the other world, but at some point I'm like, it's boring. I have other games to play. If I don't play them, I'm gonna be so left behind on main what do you call it stories that I just had to leave Remnant 2 behind.
I think the thing that makes me most excited is playing with new builds on Apocalypse in co-op because co-op
Mm.
Apocalypse is so much harder. There's a lot more health you have to deal with. You have to like manage your cooldowns much more, considering raising the people who go down because you need them to do DPS, and then just trying new combinations of classes. Like, for example, right now I'm running Alchemist and Archon, and it's done wonders, especially with some of the new amulets and rings that have popped up in this DLC. There's one that gives you like Bulwark, and you can get a whole bunch of defense without wearing heavy armor, and high damage reduction, and it completely opens up you to have all your rings still for things that you would want to do. Um, so it's little things like that that get me so excited again. I also have well, as you know, I use Handler a lot. And then I'm working on another build right now that will use the Savior. I don't know what classes it'll be yet, maybe Hunter, but yeah, mixing them up, man. I think that's what gets me so excited. And then, of course, the new DLC is coming in September. So I'm kind of like getting ramped up for playing that, hopefully on Nightmare with anybody, really. Zero, you or our buddy Zero. So, yeah. But I am starting to feel like, okay, I need to go back to Stellar Blade because I was really grinding through Stellar Blade. I have a ton of costumes unlocked. I just got into the second dungeon where you can only shoot in Stellar
Okay.
Blade.
Oh yeah, I know yeah.
Yeah, so it's been good. It's
Just
been
don't forget to what you call it when you go to these dungeons to switch your gear. Because by now you should have something that just for your gun that make your gun stronger.
I think so. If you're talking about like some add-ons or gear, yeah, I do have one that boosts like
Mhm.
only shooting or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's been good. Sorry, that was really long-winded.
No, it's all
And I
good.
still haven't gotten my import yet, so I'm waiting on that.
Which import is that?
It's Reynatis,
Oh,
which
yeah.
will be out in October in America. But I had some issues with Play Asia, who I imported it with, but they apologize and they're sending it now, so it'll be here soon.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I got Visions of Mana coming out next week for myself. Yeah, it comes out next week, right?
I think so.
We got a couple of games releasing. We got Black Myth Wukong releasing officially tomorrow everywhere. We got Concord releases the deluxe edition releases tomorrow. People who ordered the deluxe edition.
Wait, is Black Myth coming to Xbox?
Not
Yes,
at,
right, but
not at launch.
Yes.
Not at
Yes.
launch.
Okay.
But it's not tomorrow. They're still working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, not at launch.
Probably before the end of the year.
We'll see. That's definitely one of our topics for today. So we'll dive into all things Black Myth. So yeah, we got that coming up. So we got Black Myth, Concord tomorrow if you have the deluxe edition. Visions of Mana comes out next week, and I think the Call of Duty beta launches next week. So got a little busy end of the month there. That we're coming up on as far as games is concerned. But with that said, we got through all our intros. Jubei is on the way. He's in traffic. So we can just dive into the what's on your mind portion of the topic. There's been a lot of news, or a lot of things that have came into our peer view this previous week, in regards to the games industry. We had a lot of Xbox news. So, well, rumors, I should say, more than news. We had rumors that a big game was going to be announced for PlayStation at Gamescom. That rumor appears to have been silenced a little bit. But then it followed up with what is it? Indiana Jones possibly being announced at Gamescom to go to PlayStation as like 6 months post release, which would be kind of weird to announce it before the game even comes out. Normally when you have an exclusivity window, you don't tell people that when they're getting the next one. And then what else Xbox related came out? The whole knack thing. I know that was something that Omar brought up before the show, where the knack developer was talking about their struggles of getting their game approved through the Xbox ID program. So I'm gonna turn you guys loose and give you a chance to talk about anything that's on your mind regarding those topics or anything else. It's just a lead into what's on your mind. So this is kind of an open forum part. So if anyone wants to jump out and talk about anything gaming related that's on their mind, I just hit on the hot buttons real quick. But if y'all want to expand on those with your thoughts, feel free.
For the game hack, it's mind-boggling that they've been struggling for so long without any support. And apparently Microsoft even apologized to them, and they informed them about the specific bug that they got encountered, and they said, yes, that's on them. And despite it, I think they solved this problem. From my understanding, the game is still not gonna come to Xbox because besides this, they have experienced other issues.
Well, they said that they were. I didn't follow up, but I did see a little bit today. At first, they said, we've washed our hands of launching on Xbox, but they've since posted messages that kind of lead you to believe they are going to post on Xbox after Xbox responded back to them. So I think that's just going to be like a wait and see.
We're going to wait to see.
That's going to be like a wait and see type thing.
I really hope you guys get it because it looked a very cool game that I would absolutely play.
Isn't it only on PC at the moment?
It's on PC, but it's being developed for PlayStation.
Okay, but I'm saying right now it's only on PC. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Metrovania.
Yeah. Okay.
And, yeah. Besides that, apparently the rumor is that not one, not two, not three, but 4 games that hitting PlayStation from Xbox. You seen that one?
I just heard a big game. It was a bunch of rumors that kind of died down as the week went on and actual journalists got a chance to look into it. So I'm not sure how much credibility it has. I mean, see, the thing is, Xbox is the largest third party publisher right now. So if you throw enough stuff at the wall, eventually it's gonna stick. Now, if you're talking about specifically, because I know specifically they were trying to say Halo or Forza Horizon or one of those games. If you're trying to be specific, then that's something different. But I mean, at this point, Xbox has already made it clear, like, we're the largest third-party publisher. We're still going to release games on third-party platforms. So we already saw that with Doom. I'm sure if the next Crash Bandicoot gets made, that'll be everywhere. I'm sure a game like Spyro. And I'm sure maybe Outer Worlds 2 probably ends up everywhere because it started out everywhere. I'm sure a lot of those type of games will end up everywhere. I'm sure, and they'll keep a core, group of games that make their platform unique.
This rumor that they're actually talking about is Forza and Forza 5. And,
but since then, Jez came out and said that it's not Forza isn't coming.
we're gonna see what is coming, which is it's going to be very interesting to see how Microsoft is moving.
I just
also, if Indiana Jones turned out to be actually coming to PlayStation, I would not be surprised. Blade that would be then announced later down the road to PlayStation as well.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but like I said, I think people are just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Excuse my language on the analogy, but yeah, I think that's kind of what's happening at the moment. I don't see them hyping up Gamescom to be one of their biggest events, only to take attention away from themselves to another platform. Do I think I think it'll be like how they did how they were planning to originally do Sea of Thieves the other game, Sea of Thieves Grounded, what was it, Hi-Fi Rush. Was there a fourth game? Pentiment. Like, those games, they planned on releasing them on other platforms, but they were going to let those other platforms actually announce it. I think it'll just be the same. I think it'll be the same way as long as, it doesn't leak. Like, if it leaks, maybe they get ahead of it, but now that they've already, made the intention clear, maybe they don't. And they just still let Nintendo announce it, or still let PlayStation announce it at their own State of Play or Nintendo Direct, as opposed to it being a presser that just releases on Xbox Wire or something like that.
Newcomer, Jubei, you here?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Oh, he got the hand on the wire mic. But yeah, anybody else have anything on their mind? Anybody else want to jump in before we jump into our main topics of tonight?
What were we talking about? My bad. I'm still in the car, so.
Yeah, we hear you on the wire on the can mic. He was just asking your thoughts on the rumors this week about Xbox releasing some big games to some quote unquote big games to PlayStation.
Honestly, I hope it's Halo Infinite. Go ahead and send it.
Okay, so you actually
send them,
you hope
send them the multiplayer. Send them the multiplayer. Do not give them the campaign. Send them the multiplayer. It's free to play. Nobody can talk shit about it. Go ahead and send it to them.
Okay. So that's your reaction to the speculation, is that go ahead and do it. I'm just kind of wait and see. I'll wait and see what happens and then react based on.
I feel their next box is going to let you sign into all these storefronts. So I'm not going to be surprised when their games are just like some of like their free to play shit, especially like Halo multiplayer should be on a lot of other things. Yeah, you gotta boost those numbers up.
If Halo Infinite went to PlayStation, I'm sure that would. I'm not saying the game is dead, but it would bring it back to life in a different type of way. If it did, it would.
Just the multiplayer. They don't need the campaign. Just the multiplayer. If you want campaign, that's going to be Xbox exclusive. Like you're gonna have to come over here and play that campaign.
Xbox or Windows, yeah. So you gotta hop on the PC or the Fire Stick. You can do the campaign on the Fire Stick. You just gotta be subscribed to Game Pass. So, but yeah. Zero. Kofi, anything that's on your mind gaming related that popped up in the past since you guys been on the show, because y'all missed the past couple weeks. So in the past 2 weeks, anything gaming related that popped up on you guys' mind? I was itching like crazy for some reason.
Kofi, I don't know if you saw, but or maybe you're just avoiding it, but Monster Hunter Wilds has been dropping a new weapon video, I think, for the past 2 weeks, with all the sort of changes and upgrades that will be coming to the new game next year. Looks pretty good. Some of our favorite weapons are getting some reworks and getting some very interesting tactics. Also, the game just looks great. Like, it looks absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to do amazing numbers.
Okay.
So to your point, I haven't really looked at much of Wild just because I'm just gonna buy it. But I saw the duels video and I was like, "Hey, yo, give me this game, man! Like it looked real good." I was very excited seeing that.
So, I've pretty much just been hopping on my gaming Twitter account just to hop in the DMs real quick and kind of go back and forth to you guys and respond. But I haven't really been knee deep in the content that's been getting pushed out. So on my primary account, I've been looking at the football stuff currently because football season's right around the corner. College football starts Saturday, so with week 0. So I've just been kind of keeping an eye on that stuff. This past couple weeks, it's training camp season, starting to get that itch again. But yeah, so I have not seen that particular video.
Awesome, man. Like, if you didn't play Monster Hunter World, go. One, probably now's the best time to play it. Everything's up for free. But if not, just get on Monster Hunter Wilds, man. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, and I heard that that Borderlands has done so well that it's gonna be on demand next week.
Yeah, that means I don't even have to
hilarious.
legally stream it. I can just pull it up simply.
Yeah, apparently it's going on demand next week because it. Somebody said it went plastic or went wood or something like that. So.
I wouldn't even give it that. It just went. I wouldn't even say it went a material. Wow, that's amazing. Because I have to see it. I have to see just how bad it really is.
Those type of movies, even though they're not movies that I particularly care about or have a vested interest in, those are the movies that I throw on as I'm about to go to sleep.
It feels like a good Sunday cleaning.
For instance, I like Uncharted, so I actually watched Uncharted. But when the Gran Turismo movie came out, I turned it on, but I can't tell you anything that happened past the splash screen. So it's if the story intrigued me on the game side, I might give it a chance. But Borderlands and Monster Hunter, those were just
Oh yeah, Borderlands dead. Borderlands movie flopped so bad.
Yeah, it's going on demand next week apparently. And yeah, those movies are so bad. You don't even really give them the opportunity to disappoint you.
Nah, it's over. Borderlands, and I'm a huge Borderlands fan. The second I saw the casting, I'm like, yup, that's dead on arrival.
Yep. But But yeah, Kobe, you got anything that's on your mind over the past
Let's
2
see.
weeks?
Um,
You can come from
Definitely.
an Eastern perspective. You can come from the Western perspective. Whatever.
Usually I'm way more in tune with what's been going on in Japan. As you know, my favorite Trails series is coming out with their newest game, the 13th game in the series, at the end of September. But because it's so easy to turn on and off my interaction with Japanese media through Twitter or through Facebook, I have seen like even less of this Trails game than I did Rebirth. In Rebirth, I was pretty much blacked out. So I'm definitely really pumped, for all that. I do see some people, posting fan art. That's like there's a huge community doing fan art of Trails games and things that they're looking forward to. And I'm a moderator for a growing Facebook group. We've got over 2,500 members, I think. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that here. That I'm one of the founders. We first stood up the group in 2019, and it's been going well.
Trails group.
Facebook. Say again? Yeah. It's called the Falcom Lounge.
Okay.
Um,
So that's where
yeah,
that's where the cult that Zero was always talking about. That's where y'all
maybe,
congregate. Yeah.
There's a couple. Oh, go
I
ahead.
believe I'm a part of Falcon Lounge. I didn't know you were a founder. Oh, like
Yeah,
I'm
Well,
locked in
yeah,
now.
man.
All right.
Well, we already
Yeah.
we already know you joined the Trails of Soul Cold Steel cult. You kind of died off in your feverance of it. But
I'll be back to it. I just got to do my due diligence and actually do some
Yeah.
more JRPGs.
And Omar, you've been waiting because you want to play the remake of Sky. And Farrell, we got to get you to at least try Cold
The
Steel.
remake. Yeah, I want to play the because you know me. When I'm invested in the lore, I want it all completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
don't want to miss
respect
on
that. I'm not
anything.
gonna, because I don't want anybody to skip any game. But like, for example, if Farrell, you're like, look, I'm not into the 2D art. I want to start a Cold Steel. I'd be like, look, at least play Cold Steel. You can get a deeper understanding, and then maybe you'll go backwards. But
so
at least that
the first one is what's the first one called again?
Farrell's in the Sky.
That's that's actually what I was gonna say, but I just didn't want to get it wrong.
But that's actually getting a remake. I think.
It's
Did
like
announce
they
when?
want to say something, but they haven't officially said anything.
Do you have an idea on when it might be?
Okay, so if we, my guess is we wouldn't see it for 2 more years. Typically, Trails games come out in back-to-back years, and we've had a gap year because there was no Trails game last year. So I would imagine we get Kai in 6 weeks, and then next year we're going to get another Trails game, and then maybe after that we might see a remake. So 2026, I think, will be the earliest.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
What were you going to say, Farrell?
No, I'll definitely check out. I've had my eyes on the Trail series, but it's a little bit intimidating knowing that the stories all take place in sequence, and it's like 13 of them now. So
yeah, it is a lot.
So I'll
You have played all the Final Fantasy games. You can manage.
Yeah, that's over a lifetime. But I'll dive in for sure. But Jubei, do you have anything that's on your mind, gaming related? Oh, going once.
No, not really. I'm ready to jump into the topics. I'll be home in like 5 minutes, so
Okay.
just don't start with me.
All right, cool. We definitely will not start with the can on the string mic. So with that said, let me get this timestamp together. Missed it for what's on your mind segment, but let's get it for the game. Let's get it for the Gamescom segment. All right. I want to encourage everyone to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this out. We really enjoy you guys coming through, and would love to see a lot more engagement on the channel. So if you find people who have an interest in gaming podcasts, be sure to share this out. All right. And so with our first topic, how is this not centered? Oh my gosh, I'm horrible. First topic of the day is tomorrow we have the kickoff event for Gamescom. For those of us on the East Coast, It will start at 2 p.m. EST. I think that show is Jeff Keighley's show. I think he's the opening show for the event, and I believe Xbox is having their own show on Friday, day 3. I saw a little ad for day 3. So I think they're gonna be. I guess if it's day 3, maybe it's the closing day. How long is Gamescom? Is it a full week? Most
I think it's 4 or 5
4
days,
days?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 5-day show. I know it's open to the public.
I think it was 4, but maybe it's 5.
Yeah, I'm about to say typically convention shows are typically only 3 to 4 days normally.
Yeah.
So the show starts 2 p.m. EST, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
2 p.m. EST tomorrow. Probably close. You're in the Netherlands, so whatever that translates to your time.
Yeah, I will.
Day 4. Day 4 is Friday, so that means that it starts tomorrow, ends Friday. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah. So it's a 1 week conference basically. Like probably today is like everyone sets up and does everything behind the scenes before they let the public in, and then then you have 4 days with the public in there. That makes sense. So yeah. So what? Let's see. There's a lot of rumors going on about this show. We're expecting to see some new games that weren't shown during the quote unquote E3 season. Possibly, I think Keighley has alluded to there being some big announcements possibly at his show, and then Xbox in particular has said that they didn't fit everything that they had to show this year into their show. So hypothetically, we're supposed to see some new games this week, and we do know that Xbox is going to have a big presence there at Gamescom. They're going to have the largest booth at the event. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff. We got a preemptive announcement, which will be a different topic, from Square Enix, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Gamescom. I think we might actually get some interesting news that we'll have a chance to speak on next week's show. So I'm gonna kick it off with Zero. Based on what you heard around the event this week and everything else, do you have any expectations? You plan on watching the show tomorrow? What are your thoughts on everything surrounding Gamescom this week and the Keighley show?
Definitely looking forward to it. As always, it is just the summer, and so it's always the time of new video game releases, news, announcements, and everything in between. I will be largely disappointed because Jeff Keighley did go out to say that there will be no news of Hollow Knight Silksong. So another year, another month, another day with no Hollow Knight, which is just so disappointing. But I can only assume that the team are working their hardest. Was it Team Cherry? Are working absolute hardest to get it done. But it's a little disappointing, man. I love that game. Otherwise, it's the sort of waiting game just to see like what do we got here. As always, Xbox, my rule. Run me my game, so I'm sure there'll be lots of announcements from them.
50 games, eh?
Yeah.
100.
No, just 50. Well, actually, no, upped it to 75 because they started to
80,
be on like
80.
a regular
So
Steam.
they have Activision now.
I don't think they have a showcase. I think they're just doing a European show.
It
I
doesn't
think.
matter. They own Activision.
Yeah, but you're not going to show.
But like,
you
but
showed all
there's
you did your main show a whole month ago. You're not going to have another.
But Bethesda has a showcase, or at least a live stream, right? So my thought is like, what are they showing?
Oh,
What
probably.
does Bethesda have?
Oh, Shattered Space.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Shattered Space.
I still expect maybe 1 or 2 surprise announcements. I don't expect anything unless it's something really small. I certainly don't expect anything announced that's going to come out this year. I would be utterly shocked. But
well, you still have games that are supposed to release this year. You still have Towerborn. You still have the Shattered Space DLC, which is rumored to launch in September. So,
Well, I mean new stuff that we didn't know.
Oh yeah,
like we know we still got stuff coming for the rest of the year from Xbox, but it's like, oh, look at this game, and like Hi-Fi Rush, if you will, right?
I mean,
it's like, look at this game, and you can get it now.
Yeah, they kind of blew their wad, letting us know everything that they have in the pipeline for the next couple of years. So, it's going to be onesie twosies at this point. Because,
which I think is cool. Like
even
you
games
get an opportunity. To do another high, and I've just used that because that was just such a small game to pop out and like, oh wow, that's really cool that you guys did this. Something like that. I don't expect anything huge, but like a smaller game that might look interesting. Because as I said, run me out games. They don't all got to be giant blockbusters. Just want the games. Maybe some news about Game Pass. So it'll be nice to see what's going on. But as always, it's just good to see more video games come out. And what we can expect from the industry going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Omar, what are your thoughts on this week Gamescom? It's actually pretty close to you. So, are you gonna catch the show live, or are you gonna catch it the next day, or?
No, so I'm actually gonna watch it with my crew. If we don't go live, we do it off air. As for it being closed, it's actually in Germany.
Yeah, Netherlands is close to Germany.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is quite a ride. What I am going with one of my friend from Other Player Podcast. We're actually going to go to a show called 4Game Show, kind of like a Gamescom, but this one in the Netherlands. And it's actually going to be close to us. And then I'm going to try out some of the new games and talk about them when we do. But as for Gamescom, I'm just going to watch it like everyone else. I'm super interested to see if it's going to be a rehash of the last showcase that we just had from Jeff Keighley, or is he gonna show something different, something new? We do know that that Little Nightmares 3, Little Big Nightmare, I think Little Big, or either Little Nightmares 3 is gonna be on the show. We also know that Persona 3 Reloaded is gonna be on the show, possibly for their upcoming DLC. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what studios are gonna come through, and it's also gonna be interesting if PlayStation gonna show something.
Is PlayStation at Gamescom this year? I know they're at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if they're.
They don't need to come in to show up. They can just.
They can show up on. They can show up on the Keighley stage, sure.
Yeah, again, or two on Jeff Keighley, which I'm expecting them to cover Astrobot and whatchamacallit?
Lego Horizon.
Halo, yeah, Lego Halo.
Well, Gamescom will be a great place to get people to get their hands on Concord if they're gonna have a presence there.
Oh, but real talk, I don't care about that.
I know you don't, but but for them, it's a great place for them to get their hands on the game. And then they have 3 other games coming out this year. They have Astrobot,
I have
Lego Horizon, and then they have Until Dawn.
Concord.
So no, I already said Concord. So I said 3 other games besides Concord. They have Lego Horizon, Astrobot, and Until Dawn is releasing this year.
Oh yeah.
And it's not their game, but isn't Silent Hill 2 releasing this year as well?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah. So they have exclusivity on it, but yeah. So Silent Hill 2 may also come out this year. So all 4 of those games could potentially be at Gamescom. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Since you spoke up, Kofi, and you're the last person available, what are your thoughts on Gamescom this week? You going to be checking out the show? Is there anything you're looking forward to?
I definitely need to get back into a lot of the gaming news. I've really been like head under the sand in Remnant and Stellar Blade, and another game I forgot to mention, which I will bring up at the end of the podcast. So if I could see more Monster Hunter, I could finally like sink my teeth into. Because once I saw the gameplay for Wilds, like I actually paid attention to it, I was very much excited. So I think that would be the first key thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like big for me. With Wukong, so close. I feel like I have enough that there's nothing like I immediately need to. Oh, and then there's it's called Space Marine 2, which is basically around the corner, and some other ones now I'm thinking of. So I'm kind of like I want maybe some smaller games, some indie games to maybe make their debut that could really interest me. But in terms of like big, longer campaign games, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I won't be buying anything immediately within the next like 2 or 3 months.
So if I get this Monster Hunter Wilds,
Wow, you're actually gonna play a different game?
no, I bought Monster Hunter World, but it was just me by myself. I ain't had nobody to play with. So that's what I'm saying. If I get this Monster Hunter Wilds, we gonna have to play together. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. I got Monster Hunter World, but I don't think Monster Hunter World had crossplay. So I got it for.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I got it
No,
for.
yeah, it did.
Yeah, I had it for Xbox. So it was just me by myself playing it, and then like randos, and I don't throw on my headset to play with randos. So,
Yeah.
because they be playing music and yelling at their kids and stuff like that, and I don't want to hear all that shit. But
Music is too much.
yeah. So but yeah. So that's my thoughts on the whole Monster on the Wild situation. But before we got off on a tangent, anything else Gamescom related, Kofi?
I think that's it for me. I would love to hear like fighting game type stuff. We got that SVC Chaos that recently came out, recently came out. I'd love to hear something SNK.
I'll say, yeah, Capcom's been on a roll announcing, Retro Fighters coming out.
Right. Yep. And that's.
Oh.
I mean, Capcom versus SNK 3 is still a dream of mine. But there's been a lot of cool stuff in the fighting game community as of late, so I'm not gonna complain.
It didn't make the topics, but something that we could potentially see, I guess, is Xbox is apparently working on renewing the licenses for a bunch of Marvel games. So, maybe a Deadpool game or something like that could be announced. Because they already have a Deadpool game. So maybe that could be announced, coming back out, sometime in the fall or something like that before the year's up. That'd be kind of cool. But let's see. Let's go ahead, and we really don't have anything else. I tried to stall a little bit for Jubei, but he's taking a little bit of time to transition, so he doesn't get to talk about Gamescom. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. Just let me put down the timestamp for. Okay. All right. And before I jump into this next topic, I just want to encourage everyone, like, subscribe, share this out. I'm going to chop this up in different segments so that people have a chance to watch it in smaller segments. So yeah, for sure, like, subscribe, share this out. I appreciate you guys coming through. And with that being said, let's jump on to our second topic of today, which is great news. Great news that was announced today, which is that Final Fantasy 16 will finally be launching on PC September 17th, with the demo launching today on the Steam and Epic Store. So, I beat the game already. I'm like midway through my second playthrough, but I am excited about the fact that it's coming to PC. That other people get a chance to play it. Maybe I'll buy it on PC since it doesn't necessarily run the greatest on PlayStation. It doesn't run poorly, but I would definitely love to have like a premium experience with that game on the PC. So yeah, I'm happy it's coming to PC. Kofi, what are your thoughts on this finally getting announced? I was hoping Nappy would be here because I know he's been dying to play it. But
Nappy definitely, I think he got sour about everything he heard about the game. I do think he should play it.
It's one of the better stories.
I was like, I was through the ceiling to finally experience it because I didn't know anything about it even on the day of purchase. And as I played it, I just kind of became more and more disappointed, specifically with the gameplay. But I enjoy the characters and I enjoy the story. And then when I finished the game, I was just kind of like, I enjoyed the story, but I felt empty from a gameplay complexity standpoint. So I kind of just didn't want to think about it or talk about it. And then,
That end. It's kind
yeah, I
of
just
like
the gameplay
the
did
worm-
kind of kill it for me as well. But it is
Yeah.
one of the richer
how-
stories. Yeah.
It's not the story, it's the gameplay.
Yeah.
How bombs, you can literally kill them with fire. Like,
right.
Yeah.
You can kill things with fire. Everything can be dodged. And that to
Mhm.
me is like Bahamut's big. I mean, I'm sorry, a behemoth's big meteor attack. If you just hit circle at the right time, like you're good. And to me, I'd rather have the preparation. Allow me to cast shell, or allow me to somehow mute him, or like give me various avenues of complex setups and builds that keep me excited about it. That's what I loved about almost every other Final Fantasy. I'm not going to talk about 13, even though 13 technically did have some more complex things.
Or 15.
Yeah, and like in 15, yeah.
You know, my biggest issue with Final Fantasy 16 was that as you got like midway through the game, it just became the same enemies reskinned. Like they had the exact same animations.
Right.
And that just kind of like you would go to a different region and it would just be the same enemy in a different color reskinned.
Yeah.
Had the same moveset and everything. And that was
things like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean, the switch up is immense. You'll run into some things and you really have to understand how they attack. Like, I don't know, in the Colosseum fighting against those Joker enemies,
yeah.
those things are like no joke. Like I'm like, oh, okay, like they're very specific.
You run into enemies on Final Fantasy VII that you only run into in that particular region and you never see them again.
Exactly. It's very unique.
Yeah.
And the bosses are just out of this world. With 7 having multiple stages and like my second form, my final form, and that's what I expected out of Final Fantasy. 16 having it simple. It's to me. I have a new member of my family. She's really into learning about JRPGs, and she's on a Persona trip right now. I'm not actually the biggest Persona fan, but I always will like promote that for her. But she's like, oh, like what should I play next? I would probably recommend 16, just because party management and getting all this equipment is not really her thing. She more wants a streamlined experience, and so I think there's definitely a great market for people like that because she might play 16 and then be like, okay, now I'm ready to take it to the next level. I want to go play a 13, and then take it to the next, play a 12, because in terms of complexity, I think that would be a great progression. So I've learned to appreciate the game a little bit more since not playing it, not touching it. I haven't done the Leviathan DLC or
I haven't either.
the other DLC. Okay, you haven't either.
No.
What about you, Omar?
Me neither.
Okay,
I
you haven't done.
got the plot, but I have yet to play any of the DLC.
So, I was gonna ask you, being that you jumped back into 7, what was your favorite boss fight?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I mean, there's so many great ones. I really liked fighting Scarlet in her robot.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool when the girls came together and just had it all out against her. I had Yuffie and Aerith all set up, and the fight against Scarlet I think is a huge highlight. I mean, man,
the final one.
Oh, of course, I have to mention against Vincent. I just for some reason I was like, "There's no way we're gonna fight Vincent," and then we did, and it was so amazing, and I loved it. And my sons were there watching with me, and they're like, "He's your favorite character? He's a monster!" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's so cool." No, I'm definitely a Vincent fanboy. So. Yeah, I would say that's top 2. If I were to name a third, I'm trying to think of ones I may have forgotten. I do like fighting against Roche at the base when he was in the battle Coliseum and riding his bike along the walls.
Yeah.
That was really cool and fun. I mean, there's so many great ones. They're also different.
Yeah, I like I think my favorite was the Vincent Roche combo. So,
To me,
oh yes, yeah, right.
To me, I would actually choose the last fight you fight. Not the final boss. When you escape and you need to fight this. Oh no, never mind. That's in the first game. I was talking about the tank that drive after you. That was in the first game. My bad.
Like
But
Cutter.
the second one, I would say, it's despite the fact that I hated it, the final boss, the layers that it set, like that was memorable.
Okay.
Tedious, but memorable.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's jump back
Well-
on to 16. Oh, go ahead. What you gonna say, Kofi?
One last. I was just going to say, shout out to Gilgamesh for being equally hard and funny.
Yeah, he's definitely
Um,
entertaining. He was entertaining throughout the entire game.
Yes.
Yeah. I just
I
thought
hate the audience so much, especially the Zangatsu.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing with Gilgamesh that kind of like got me a little mixed up is when he appeared with Sephiroth. But yeah, other than that, it was all. But let's roll on to 0. But what are your thoughts on Final Fantasy 16 finally going to PC?
I think it's cool. The more people to play Final Fantasy, the better. I have not finished 16, largely because a lot of what you guys were saying, the gameplay just wasn't keeping me interested. So I just said I will inevitably get back to it. I hate to say of any video game that wants you to play it, but it's a great story to watch. Like if it was like Final Fantasy 16, all 3 to 4 hours of it, or watch on YouTube, I would like this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is very good.
Because it's a really compelling story, and the world is really fleshed out very well. I love the characters; they're very interesting. But I just found myself getting a little bored with the gameplay. But maybe I just needed a break. So I took my time. I'm just gonna take my time with it and circle back to it at another time. But overall, it's wonderful. Hopefully, it'll. Did 16 sell particularly well?
It didn't hit the goals they were hoping for. I'm not saying it did bad, but it didn't they were expecting that to do numbers.
It's so well. It's just they thought it would rejuvenate the franchise.
Yeah, it's a difference between selling well and selling what you want it to sell.
Yeah,
that's
it's
projection. But that's the thing.
They wanted it to sell better than 15. That's what they wanted.
That was never gonna happen.
They wanted it to be a new franchise for them to to ditch the old concept and start fresh, but
then they should have just called it Final Fantasy instead of 16. They should have just started over.
But
they had an opportunity for that.
But I will say the one thing I'll say about Final Fantasy 16 is that the gameplay was lacking in such a way that you was like, you know what, Final Fantasy 15, that combat system wasn't that bad.
Yep. Facts.
When Devil May Cry 1 have better combat than your quote unquote fresh gameplay, you have a problem.
I don't think the gameplay itself is horrible. It just is bare bones. It lacks.
It's bare bones.
It lacks the depth. There's no depth to it. That's the issue.
It's a 4-button combo. It's a 4-button combo. Quick. You can launch an enemy into the air and juggle them and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, you're using Bahamut ult or somebody else ult and call it a day. There is no variety. You don't get a different weapon to experiment with. What you have is what you get, which is your sword. Yes, some weapons changes by when you press, I think, circle, I think. It can either become the Bahamut laser or staff. But at the end of the day, it's just a button press. there is no combo with such a weapon, and that's what killed it. Besides you not being able to tag team with your teammate, interact with them, have them launch their ult on the enemy, switch to your teammate. Like, this game was so bare bonnet insulting. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Oh,
I
that's
don't.
facts, bro.
I don't want to rag because it is from a story perspective. It is. It is to me. To me, it's like top 5 Final Fantasy
Yep.
from a just pure story perspective. It is up there, but
Mhm.
I mean,
where it falls short on gameplay and it falls short in just too many fetch quests. There were too many side quests that pulled you away from the story. Also, if you ask me, there were some great side quests that made the story, that enriched the story, but there was way too many that was just like, yeah, we're just doing stuff to eat up your time.
when you fight that wind monster after the crystal breaking, like, that shit was cool.
Yeah, they
Yep.
have
When
some
you
of the
fight
best
They have
scenes.
some. They have
that
some really
shit
good set pieces
was
for sure.
fucking dope. But then when
Ifrit
you
fight,
fight the
great.
final boss, he is literally quite close to 40-minute boss fight.
I think and I think the build up of the rivalry between Titan and Ifrit. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy that Clive was going against. Can't think of his name, but he was the Titan dominant. But the build up between them, that was fire too.
Yeah, that was fire. Which how they fucked up with dropped the ball when the Ifrit summon is literally the same summon as Phoenix.
Not the
If it
same.
doesn't get its own summon circle, that was such a frustrating
Why would
aspect
you come?
of the game.
Oh yeah, you don't get Ifrit's abilities till a little bit later in the game. You start with the Phoenixes, and then you get.
Yeah, but still, Ifrit is still with Phoenix. He doesn't get his own abilities or stuff. Most of it is just combined with Phoenix.
No, he got the little balls that circled around
Yeah,
him, and he
but
got a couple of
not significant like a la
I will
like
say I thought Ifrit's abilities was the weakest of the bunch. I will say that much. I felt like all the other
the strongest was between Bahamut and Shiva because of her freezing.
yeah, but I thought Ifrit's was the weakest for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
Wholeheartedly agree.
did I not? Did I get? Did I get your thought Zero? I mean, not Zero. Jubei on 16 finally making it to PC.
No.
No. So how you feeling about it launching on PC?
Hopefully the modding community can make it more fun. Like, throw some status ailments in there. Like, somebody got to do it. Because if you had that story with like the gameplay and combat from 15, this shit would have been a 10 out of 10. Easy. But
Yeah.
we didn't get that. Like, we got a great story, not so great gameplay.
Which is kind of crazy because like those developers don't.
Yeah.
They do different things, so it's like, well, why would one lack over the other? It just doesn't.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what we got. I do feel bad for people that I feel like PlayStation people are getting the shaft a little bit. You can get the complete experience for like $60.
It's releasing for like $45 on.
It's 45, but with the DLC, it's 60.
Okay.
You can get the whole game for 60 versus 85.
So you can't. There's not a combo pack on PlayStation for the DLC where you get both for
Not really. Like people already spent $70 on the game before the DLC.
No, but I'm saying like as a PlayStation 5 customer, if I haven't bought Final Fantasy 16 yet, is there like a combo pack that can get it at a reasonable price compared to what's on PC without
I don't know.
searching?
Somebody would have to look, and you can't like search like a different storefront. It has to be.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'll look right now.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like PC gamers are getting a good deal.
Let's see, Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, so there is no pack where you purchase the whole thing.
There isn't. Yeah,
so you just
but
you
there is on
purchase
PC,
you purchase the add-on separately. So
which is $85, or like what was the add-on, like 15 or 20?
there is an expansion pass which covers both.
Yep, for how much?
And that's $25.
So $95.
So
for the complete experience on PlayStation.
yeah,
or $60 for PC.
So a new customer would have to pay the $70 because the price hasn't dropped. They'd have to pay the $70 plus the $24.99 plus whatever taxes are associated with your area. So yeah, that is
that's gross.
That is
like I said, PC price wise, they are coming up because they are literally saving damn near $40.
PlayStation played a hand in Final Fantasy 16's development. They're on the credits, so they probably have they probably have say so on the price on their store. So,
but it's still their offering. Like even if that's the case, like it PC gamers still getting that better price is a bad look.
Yeah, but
PC gamers always get the better price. That's the reality.
Not drastically like that. It's usually like
$10. Yeah, it's usually about $10.
It's not like 40. It's not like the difference between a deluxe edition and the standard edition of the game. Like it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, typically it's like a $10 difference between PC and console in most cases. At most 20 normally, and it wouldn't be anything more than that though. Typically, especially with a game that's like going on. By the time it comes out, it'll be what, like 14 months old?
Near 2 years old. Yeah,
about 14 months.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so that is interesting. I do want more people to play it. The game does have its faults, but like I said, it's one of the best Final Fantasy stories that have been released in quite some time. So do hope people enjoy it. Get a chance to play it. Hope Square finds some success with the game that they hope they would have achieved. With that said, and hopefully it comes. Hopefully it means it's also coming to Xbox soon. So more people into Final Fantasy. That's what I'm all about. And so with that said, Jubei, I'm gonna give you a chance since you missed out on a couple segments. Do you have any thoughts on Gamescom week this week? Anything you're looking forward to? Are you planning on watching it live? I'm gonna give you a chance to speak your mind on this real quick.
Yeah, I'll try to throw it on while I'm working, so that'll be fun. Right. I don't know what we're gonna see. Like, it was interesting that they added Diablo back to this week, and like that expansion's like right around the corner. What else are you gonna show us?
They might have a little demo of it on the floor because it's open to the public and people can play. So
okay, yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Game shows are fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting anything crazy, like announcement wise.
All right. So you being the Xbox guy, I'm gonna ask you this: are you expecting Xbox to step on the rake at this event? With all the rumors and stuff that have been going on, because you weren't here for anything. Are you expecting them to step on the rake during this week at Gamescom, or do you think they're gonna have a nice, smooth show?
I think it's gonna be a smooth show. The only thing that I could see would be stepping on a rake is if Indiana Jones is like timed exclusive. I'm like, oh,
It can be timed exclusive. Just don't announce it at
No,
Gamescom.
no,
Well,
it shouldn't
well,
be.
but I'm saying,
They said they finagled that contract for exclusivity. Like, why
I,
would you waste that for time?
I'm
Like, you
not,
saw that
I'm
didn't
not,
work when they did it with Tomb Raider. Like, don't do that.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Jube. I am saying, as far as Gamescom is concerned, the game can be
It
timed exclusive if they want it to be timed exclusive. Just don't announce it at Gamescom. That's all I'm saying. If the game's coming out on other platforms, it's coming out on other platforms. But you can wait to announce that instead of stepping on the rake at Gamescom and then having all this social media blowback during, an event where you're supposed to be like really rocking out.
Save it for the last day.
So that's no matter what day you do it, you're stepping on the rake. So you better announce it in 6 months when you plan on actually releasing it on the other platform. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, with that said, you got your thoughts on Gamescom. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this last topic. Looking like we're trending towards a regular 2-hour show, which is pretty good. But before then, let me throw this timestamp down. And obviously we are this point in the show, I just want to encourage everyone to like and share this out. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys for rocking out with us. And with that said, we're going to jump into the Black Myth discourse that we've had this week. So it's the reviews have come out for PC only to this point. Apparently, everyone who has a review copy for PlayStation will not be able to access their review copy until the actual launch of the game on PlayStation. So that's leading to some speculation that there may be some issues with the PlayStation version. Like it could be like a cyberpunkish Redfallish situation. There are those people who are the doom and gloomers when it comes to that. There's also been other discourse around people who have gotten a review copy for the PC, and along with their review copy for the PC, the developer has given them specific instructions to only talk about the game and not talk about things like COVID or feminism or any other Chinese government related issues during your review and gameplay of said game. So that has sparked some conversation, to say the least. And anything else that I'm missing in regards to this game that's launched tomorrow? It does the PC version. It does look, while it does look fantastic, it's given that 4090 a run for its money. So it is going to be interesting to see how they optimized it for the console. And I'll be looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. But yeah, I know a couple people on this panel have pre-ordered it. I think Omar pre-ordered it. So I'm gonna get your thoughts based on what you've seen on reviews, some of the clips you've seen on the internet, and everything else. What are your thoughts on Black Myth coming to PlayStation tomorrow?
I pre-ordered it, but then I had to cancel because I bought the Ultrabot DualSense because mine is Joy Drift.
Okay.
Drift. So that's why. As for the game, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's worrisome. What's worrisome is they're struggling, and this.
Are you talking about the PC version?
Yeah, because apparently the stuttering, it bugged, it glitches.
Yeah, it's given the 4090 a run for its money right now for sure.
It makes you question. This is why it's not coming to Xbox right now. Like they don't have the manpower. Apparently, PlayStation is helping them with the PS5 version. So it makes you question: did Microsoft send people to help with the Xbox version or no? Because clearly they are not big team to survive on their own. Like this is going to be a test for the PS5. either it's gonna run better than PC, or it's gonna be worse than PC. One of the two is gonna be the case, which explains why they haven't released any code for the PC or PS5 version, because it's not complete. It's not ready. They're still working on it. So
Yeah.
my opinion, then why risk it and release the PC version then? Like, you're clearly like, I don't know about you guys, but first impression is everything in this industry.
I don't disagree with you, but from their perspective, at some point the bill is due, and you can only delay, but as long as the people who are supporting you or until your own funds run out. So they're probably at that point where they're not getting any more external support and the bills are due.
But if you're like, there is talk of it being on par of Cyberpunk, which I doubt, but we're gonna see. But I would not be surprised if it is on that level. Because, like, again, 4090 giving it a run for its money. Like, that's not supposed to be a thing.
Oh, there's a couple games that give the 4090 run for its money, but they're a lot more
Way more
graphic.
optimized with, unlike this one. Especially with how it was reviewed. Hey, if I'm PlayStation fan and and I'm excited about the game, I would still wait and not review and not pre-order until I see a genuine, not playthrough, but like gameplay from PS5 from people that I trust, not from the media, because you know how the media gonna show you the best thing, and they're locked behind, contracts and stuff like that. But people like my crews or me, like I can talk to them, they can rely on information like this game is running well, or you better wait because it's not running well, and you need to wait on a few patches. Like I expect either it's gonna be better running than the PC version or worse, but I don't expect it to be in the middle because of the PlayStation team helping. If they were able to help, then it's gonna be running better because they have way more support than
I
the PC
mean,
version. I mean, with
PlayStation helped with Callisto Protocol. That didn't really. It ran better, but it still didn't run great when it released. So,
I don't know about Callisto Protocol had its problem by its own, but with this one, I read that the story is okay at best. The boss fights are amazing, and the moment in between to the regular combat becomes boring. And one review stuck out to me, which said that this game lacks diversity, which, I mean, you do you on that end. But what was the biggest what the fuck moment for me was, they said that this game combat becomes a bit boring after a while. I'm like, gameplay loop becomes boring after a while. I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't every game have a gameplay loop that becomes boring at some point?
I don't think they become boring. It just depends on how much depth there is to the gameplay loop. Like, a game can have so much depth to it that everyone plays the game a little bit differently. Like, I might brute force my way through, whereas I know like Kofi, he likes to do like a lot of parrying and countering, and there are some games that allow you to, approach an enemy how you want to. So even though the gameplay loop has some parts of it that are have a lot of repetition, you still get a chance to vary the combat to how you like to fight per se. So it doesn't always get boring. There's plenty of games that have like really good gameplay loops that allow you to kind of make your own unique experiences.
Mhm.
I mean, we just talked about it, right? Like our whole complaint about Final Fantasy 16 is that the gameplay perspective of it isn't that great, i.e., it's boring, i.e., the gameplay loop is uninteresting.
Yeah.
Where Kofi can put in 500 hours in Remnant because
thing with
it's good gameplay loop.
the thing with 16 gameplay loop is because of lack of what can we call it capabilities.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but it answers your question. Is the gameplay loop boring? Yes, it is.
At
Oh.
some like close to the end, yeah, it became boring. But I get what you mean.
Yeah,
I'm just
Yeah, I agree.
because
but
like
with me, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the gameplay loop for this one.
yeah, I think it'll be one of those games where you kind of add on move sets as you go through. So you'll probably, learn a bunch of new moves along the way type thing. So I don't think it'll get too mundane, at least early. Depends on how long it takes you to learn all the moves. If like 20, 30 hours in, you already have the moves and it's a 50-hour game, that last 20 hours can be like a little monotonous. If it's not that there's not that much variance in the combat for you. But
Yeah, just about it. Very quick. What's your thoughts on this whole diversity situation?
You talking about regarding the game, like where they don't want you to talk about specific topics?
No, not some. It's the review that said there is not enough diversity and gave it a con.
That came from from what I saw, that came from like Screen Rant or something like that. Like not like an actual like game publication. And that gives me the sense that they are a little bit tone deaf to what the game is about, and that is based on Chinese mythology and lore. And maybe they're speaking from a Hollywood perspective, to where even if we're focusing on, a movie like The Last Samurai, we still gotta have Tom Cruise in there so that we have some diversity. Like, where even though it doesn't make any sense that he's in the movie. So I mean, maybe they're talking from that perspective. But from actually knowing that the game is based on like Chinese mythology, I'm sorry, and the main characters is like basically looks like in between a human and a monkey, basically. Like I'm not even expecting real people to be in the game. If they are, cool. But and even if there are real people, I'm not expecting a game that takes place in like ancient China to feature people from Europe or Africa or America or anywhere. I expect it, especially considering China was a very like locked in country to where they didn't really allow a lot of outsiders. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of outsiders in the game. So yeah, I think the person who made that statement just missed the mark. That's just my opinion.
Missed the mark beyond belief.
Yeah.
Which makes me question: did such person really care about the game by itself, or had an agenda?
I don't think they had an agenda, but they're speaking from I think it's Screen Rant, so I think they're speaking from a Hollywood perspective, and I don't think they're gamers per se. So,
but that's what I mean. Then, yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah, so
it's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the next person who I think may have pre-ordered the game, Kofi. What are your thoughts on what you've heard so far of Black Myth Wukong? Have you pre-ordered? Are you looking forward to playing it this week? I heard you talking about it early in the show, so I'm pretty sure you probably pre-ordered.
Yes. I did not pre-order it. I do plan on buying it very soon.
Pending the performance of the game, or are you just buying it regardless?
To be honest, what Omar mentioned just now made me a little more apprehensive of just instantly buying it day one. I think I would be a little disappointed to see it not perform well. It was already disappointing to hear that it's a little buggy on PC and that nobody's previewed it on PS5. Why? This game has been in development for a long time.
Like more than
and
6
I
years, right?
It's like 8.
Yeah.
And what's so significant to me about what these devs are capable of is when they showed us gameplay, I lie to you not, maybe 5 years ago. And we typically don't see really healthy gameplay that looked real. I mean, let's be honest, maybe there was a really clean vertical slice that they showed to us. But typically we're experienced gamers. When we see a game like gameplay, you kind of pass the eye test. You're saying like that look like real gameplay. That ain't no cutscene, or they ain't throwing together some I don't know, pre-rendered motion. And that, I mean, I feel like we first saw gameplay maybe like 2016, 2017.
It's been a while.
And I'm sure that based on the news we heard even before the pandemic, leadership changed for that game, and they probably stayed very ambitious. It looks ambitious in terms of diversity of location and diversity of enemy variety. Not the diversity, not the type of diversity that's controversial. So I get that, but for this potential, PlayStation version to come out and maybe be even worse than the PC version, I would just. You don't usually see dev cycles this long for a game to then come out and perform really poorly. We've seen some games come out and the frame rate doesn't match, or the gameplay lags behind with the controller input in. I get that, but if it's like some like smack your head type problems, I think that's a L. So generally excited though. Generally excited.
So if tomorrow at midnight the game launches and 12:01, let's say the game releases in a bad state. Let's just say it does. And at 12:01 on Twitter, the developers release a statement like, "Hey, we're sorry about some of the issues that you're going to see in the game, but we are committed to fixing these issues in a timely manner." Would that change your stance on purchasing the game, even if it does have issues at launch, being that they are a smaller developer releasing their first major title?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
It would. For example, even Stellar Blade had some issues at launch where controller input really lagged behind what E was doing.
Really? I had no idea, because
Mm-hmm.
they must have fixed it very well, because I never experienced that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have the digital version or not, but because I
have physical.
Oh, you have physical as well. Okay, yeah. So I guess you just, I intentionally didn't download the patch. I usually do that for my physical games. I just try it out raw without patching it or anything. So yeah, the disc base, just a little bit of lag. But it makes you have to change the gameplay, as you know better than me. Timing your dodges or your counters in Stellar Blade, it's pretty on point. You can't really be like sloppy with it. And so that was a little because this is their first game that I believe enters the AA or AAA space. They definitely are due for some leniency. And the same for Wukong, and the same for the Lies of P dev. I didn't play a lot of Lies of P, but I'm sure the game wasn't perfect at launch. So, yeah, I would be okay with it, to answer your question, Pero.
Okay.
It went through nerfing a lot, Lies of P, I heard.
I mean, I could have swore Lies of P released pretty clean.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. I played the demo, and I thought the demo was pretty good. I didn't run into any like frame issues. Only played it on PS5. I didn't play the PC demo.
I'm not a Souls guy, but I heard from the Souls community that the only thing that stopped it from being a Game of the Year contender was that it wasn't made by FromSoft. Yeah, they said if it was made by FromSoft, it would have been a Game of the Year contender. So. Apparently the Souls community loves it. Let's stay on Wukong. I'm gonna shift over to Zero. We know he has a PS5 and he may or may have not pre-ordered this game. Looking forward to it. It's been about maybe 8 years that since this game has been in development, and we've been looking forward to it. So, what are your thoughts on kind of the lead up to this game coming out?
Yeah, I didn't pre-order, but I will be getting it tomorrow.
Okay.
I just didn't feel a need to pre-order.
So you're not waiting to see if there's any type of performance or any. You're just gonna get it day one.
I'm gonna jump out there.
Okay.
It's not something I usually do, but because this game has been sort of existing for so long, and it's always like been in this sort of rear view mirror. I think for a lot of times I remember when it was announced and it was this huge thing, and then I remember being a bit skeptical because I was like, it's China, so it'll never come here. And for a long time, I was still very skeptical about whether or not this game was ever going to exist. Now that it does, it's like, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
To see what happens and what goes out there. And hopefully it'll be something entertaining and good. I will admit all of the stuff that's coming out about it, about the sort of bugs and errors, do make me a bit concerned. Largely because, just once again, like, it's been about 8 years, man. Like, and I get it. It's not a typical large video game development team. And this is their first ever game, right?
Yeah. So I feel like when a game takes that long to develop, it's either gonna be like the cleanest game you ever played, or there's gonna be like some big gaps. Because it took 8 years for a reason. And it took 8 years either because you were like making it like the best game ever, or it took 8 years because like you were struggling to get it across the finish line.
And in the back of my head, I revert a bit to the latter, in that it's their first time doing this, so they might have been struggling to get it out, and they got it out, and it might be a good effort for the first time. So we will see. So I'll certainly let you guys know by next week, like, what I feel about it and my thoughts. The controversy surrounding the game has been sort of extensive and more than I thought it would be, considering, like, I thought the only thing that really should be notable about the game is that it's finally coming out.
Well, I think the controversy has kind of been invited by the developer themselves in this instance.
I've heard
you went out, Zero, so just...
about their sort of missions.
You went out for like 30 seconds.
You said I know they've been...
You went out I heard.
Oh, yeah, I've heard they've been a bit more vocal about their beliefs and positions on certain things. There's a part of me that, like, if you put my tinfoil hat on, a lot of this controversy is manufactured to get people sort of talking about the game, but that, there is no evidence that this is true.
No, there is evidence that it's one of the content creators sent the letter that was sent to them from the developer to...
Oh, no. So that's a weird one. I don't really... You know what, you might be right. That letter in and of itself might be the thing that courts the controversy.
Uh-huh.
And the Screen Rant article is the smoking gun on the table that allows for that for that letter to have some level of clout, because when people are always looking for the monster under the bed, and Screen Rant proved to be that monster about, like, see, they're trying to take it down because of DEI and woke and all this other stuff. Where I think if we just take it on its surface, any company can ask anybody to do anything. It's their product. But it is very odd that those are the rules particularly like we all know if it were the reverse, they would be screaming up and down. You know what I mean? If it was like we don't want like just if it was like we don't want you to really talk about conservative issues and good, like this has to be like anything that isn't talking about LGBT or DEI or woke, like we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want this. It's what people think Concord is, right? Like, so Concord came out and was like, we don't really want to deal with straight politics or all this other type of stuff. People would scream censorship and
Yeah.
get up on their high horses and do all this other type of stuff. But because China can come out and say, well, we don't want you to talk about any of this other stuff, it's okay.
It's China. That's how they get down, I guess. Yeah.
And which is true, but like so many people scream up and down like censorship all across, our video game sort of sphere, and one could argue this is some level of it.
All right, so I will say this in regards to them sending out that letter. Very bold of them when they don't even know if when they don't even know if they'll ever even be able to make a second game. Normally you say something like that under the premise of you won't get our next game if you violate, or go against what we're asking, basically.
Yeah.
So for someone who's making their first game and you really don't know if you're ever going to be able to make a second game, because you making your second game is typically dependent on how well your first game does.
Yeah.
Very bold. I'll say that much. Very bold of them.
Yeah, and granted, again, like tinfoil hat theory, which like holds no weight. Sometimes it's just fun to like conspiracy theory. It's like what if that's the idea that because we set this up to make ourselves controversial, if it doesn't do well, it's not blamed on the game being bad or having a lot of bugs. It is blamed on the people not liking that they set their own rules and standards for how people want to engage with their material. And because of that, those, once again, woke or whatever, like, are the reason this game fails. Not on its own merits, but because people actively want it to hate it.
Yeah.
Or it becomes the darling, like Harry Potter, and people it makes a gang of money. So it'll be interesting to see. I do look forward to it. It looks cool.
It does.
It just looks like a cool game.
It always looked cool from the time they first showed it. So
yeah, it's one of those. Definitely a rare moment where like the rule of cool has we've seen it. So I'm still excited to do that. Fair, I agree with you. I don't know why we're paying Screen Rant any attention. We have never once paid them attention before.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden you could probably find dozens of articles across the internet that talk about lack of diversity and a gang of things. Why do we pay these people attention? They've not really been a part of our sphere. The article itself doesn't even have an author. It just says Screen Rant team.
They removed the author.
Yeah, they removed it. I saw that.
It was still up for me.
No, I mean, they removed the author's name and put.
They removed the author's name.
Yeah, he was getting. Yeah, they're probably getting some hate mail and some nasty grams.
Yes.
Which even to me says all you need to say. As much as everybody wants to hate Kotaku or IGN, the authors will always stood by their material.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can hate Jason Schreier forever he wants, but Jason Schreier's article every single time.
Well, you can stand on what you say when you actually
believe in it.
Or and what you say has some weight to it because it's based on experience. Yeah. I can't even say for sure that someone at Screen Rant even really played the game outside of maybe an hour or two.
Absolutely,
because it's not their job. Like, they're not a review company for video games. So
for video games, like, you spend 5 minutes on Screen Rant, you will not find anything video game related unless it's Borderlands.
Yeah. So
I just wasn't really concerned about it. I know we like to get ourselves all up in a wrath because people hate the thing that we like, or would they say the wrong words, but I think this is much to do about nothing. as far as I know, the person who did it, like, is video games even their thing?
Probably not.
And Black Myth Wukong isn't even big enough, quite frankly, is to warrant an article from Screen Rant.
So
this isn't like it was Grand Theft Auto.
It probably their boss figured, based on, what was coming out this week, that it would, factor into the algorithm and just to get some clicks, just write some up for the game real fast. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's probably literally what happened.
And it worked. It absolutely worked. So I'm not gonna take it away from once again, 10-4 out here. Maybe views are down. Let's get us up a little bit, and this will definitely do it. But we should know better.
Yeah.
And we, being collective gamers, should know better, and we don't need to engage with that.
And last but certainly not least, Jubei. As someone who has to wait for this game to come to your preferred platform, what are your thoughts on the reception of the game early and kind of its release on PlayStation tomorrow, and the expectations that the game may not be up to par? Jubei going once.
I'm here. Sorry.
You're good.
It's pretty crazy as far as the performance issues I'm seeing. I'm like, yeah, they tailored this whole game to be in like a visual showcase, and it shows. Like, you kind of need top of the line CPU just to really run ray tracing on it. So it's pretty wild. I do not agree with those reviews are saying that it's not diverse enough for obvious reasons. Like, it's a Chinese myth. I don't expect to see non-Chinese people in this game. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
Like he said that. Yeah, that was a really.
Does the game have people in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, maybe.
I hate to interrupt you. I just will say this one thing. I did read pieces of the article. From what I can tell, in this case, diverse, I believe, being used for more female characters in the game, as in apparently there are a lot more female characters in Journey to the West.
So I'm thinking that there might just be male and female characters. I don't know if there's going to be humans in the game.
I don't know much about Journey to the West outside of what Dragon Ball has taught me, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, as of right now, I don't think it's going. I don't think it's going to be
pretty inconsequential.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be humans in the game. I'll say that much right now. I think it's going to be a bunch of mythical creatures and people. I mean, folklore. Creatures.
And I only specified that to say, and Jubei, you know as well as I do, it's because we being black people, or generally people of color, but we're Americans, so black people, always get the blame for something we didn't do. They hear diversity, they think people of color. All of a sudden, we start getting shots. We didn't do anything.
Yeah.
We're just sitting here. We didn't even ask. We didn't do anything. Please stop bringing us up. Yeah, we're just playing the game. Please stop bringing us up. The article is basically saying there are not a lot of women in this game, based on the actual myth.
And that's probably where that's probably where the staying away from feminism came from, as far as the article. I mean, the document that they sent out to reviewers with the review copy.
That would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't pre-order the game because I wanted it on Xbox. I'm not. This is a multi-plat game. I don't buy multi-plats on PlayStation. Not gonna happen. Yeah, so I'm stuck not playing this until that comes out. Maybe I'll get a more optimized version. Who knows? Hopefully the PlayStation version isn't complete buns.
I would say that this feels like one of those type of games where you are better off waiting. Even if the game does release semi-clean, I have a feeling that the game will be a lot better in 6 months than it is when it launches.
Oh, absolutely. Like I'll wait. Like I'm gonna play it. Like I'm not gonna not play it. Worst case scenario, if they say, "Oh, we just cancel the Xbox version," then I guess I'm getting it on PC.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like even like for the PC version, like I'm sure like in 6 months it'll run like a dream, damn near. Whether it's via the modding community or, patches that the developer puts out.
Yeah, honestly, what we need Epic, and we also need the Coalition to show these damn people how to use Unreal Engine.
Not for free. Not for free.
Not for free, for sure, but like we all know Gears ain't gonna be having performance issues
But
whenever that decides to come, and we know that's Unreal 5. So
yeah, so and I think that's probably I think that's probably was some of the holdup of why it didn't come to come to Xbox on release date, is they probably did need a little bit more capital. But if we're gonna lend our expertise, like you can't ask for our expertise and our money. Like pick one. You know what I'm saying? So
I just want to hear somewhere, hey, the Coalition is helping out game science with optimizing this game.
well, I'm
If
sure
I hear that, then I know it's gonna be fine.
I'm sure that like I'm sure that Microsoft would lend, some of their expertise to get a game that they valued across the finish line. But like when you're asking for expertise and cash and it's not going into Game Pass like day one or something like that, right, or you don't get marketing rights, or, there's nothing that comes along with it outside of you getting the same game that everyone else gets, they're probably like, nah, we're good.
Right.
Like you can fix the game on your own.
Y'all that are beta testing this game, good luck to you. I'll catch y'all in 6 months for sure, for sure. I think gameplay. Well, I think the game itself is going to be fine. Performance issues, not standing. From what I've seen, like with like ray tracing on and all that, like it's absolutely gorgeous on PC. So there's a lot of pluses to be had, and when we all saw this, or I remember, I don't remember if we were watching, like I forget which show we were watching. They showed the gameplay for it, and like we were all just like, yes. So hopefully they can sort out the performance stuff. And don't read too much into the reviews. I think a 82 for this is kind of low. So
you know what? I'm not gonna say it's low. It is their first game, and I think people throwing 90s on it. Like, I think
I'm not even saying it needs a 90, an 80, an 85, 86. If it's just performance issues and everything else is cool,
I don't know.
That's not screaming like an 80. That's screaming closer to the 90s with some problems.
I don't know. I mean, I got to see it for myself. But if it's, got to see how the story lands and everything else. But I think
but the story is the story. Like
I think a 90 first time AAA title that took 8 years is a little bit lofty. Like I said, I think 80 to 85 is very respectable for your very first foray into the AAA realm. I think it's respectable.
Fair enough.
That's what I would say. But yeah, with that said, we have made it to the end of our topics. Unless there's something else that someone wants to speak on real quick, we can just start rolling into outros. Just want to thank everyone for being here. Those who rocked with us from beginning to end, whether it was live or later on, we definitely appreciate it. So let me go ahead and get this timestamp for the outros, and we will start making our way out of here. Oh, god dang it. All right. So with that said, let's roll into these outros. I'm gonna let Jubei get back to baby time. So Jubei, where people find you and what will you be playing this week?
Oh yeah. You can find me at Jubei X Sensei on gaming platform. Jubei Sensei everywhere else. Geez, what am I gonna be playing? I honestly don't even know. Probably some more Madden.
You'll probably get whooped
Now
up by
that
me this
Madden,
week.
Yeah, I'll take that. Now that Madden 24 is no longer a part of my life, yeah,
This game is
it's,
good.
it's, it's,
I mean, there's
I know
a couple little things
2025 is
there's
good.
a couple little things they gotta fix, but it's good.
Yeah, yeah, it's solid, even from a presentation standpoint. Like, I'm in there.
Yep. The
Um,
new plays have definitely added some life to the game. I'll say that much.
Agreed. And even just being able to do like the line adjustments and stuff has been really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so probably that might jump back into UVA a little bit. I know they're dropping some. They're kind of unifying the Japanese and the other region games so that everybody has the same list, which is cool. So, might check that out.
Yeah. Omar, what will you be playing and where can people find you? You said you might be live streaming tomorrow, so yeah. Put that shameless plug in.
We go off air with this one. As in we don't we don't go live.
Okay.
We just join a group and watch it together.
Okay.
For me, you can find me at Carbon_Job on Twitter, and looking forward to my crew cover of Wukong, because they're gonna be day one on it. And if you're curious how it's gonna run, listen to our show this week, Saturday 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna also do the Gamescom cover. So see you this week.
And Kofi, where can people find you and what will you be playing?
Guys, you're going to still find me somewhere in Fractured Ingress trying to kill Dran and Drazier and Pan, because I'll be doing a lot of Remnant 2. I'm hoping that Zero and I can link up tomorrow with our third member, and Omar, of course. We can link up as we prep for... I mean, we've got new DLC coming in less than 4 weeks, and I would love to be able to run that on Apocalypse for the high-level difficulty. But another game I wanted to throw out really quick, and really I wanted Reggie to hear this. I picked up a new roguelike, and I really, really like it. I'm not good at roguelikes, so it's always bittersweet. But it's called, I always actually forget the name. Oh, it's called Astral Ascent. And Astral Ascent was recently on sale and recently had a new character you can play as. But it has a story that is crafted, in my opinion, like Hades, where the characters that you play as are compelling. And their story and their journey as they learn things is very organic. And as they meet certain people in their world, they have these like surprisingly deep dialogues. The entire game is voice acted. And there are now 5 characters that you can play as, all which are completely different and have a different move set and are kind of familiar with each other. So it almost has like RPG style communication, but it's a roguelike. And the roguelike aspects are really great because enemies the way that enemy attacks are telegraphed is like using like almost like MMOs. Like it has like this red space that tells you that that area will be attacked. And by the way, this is like a side-scrolling type of a roguelike, kind of like Dead Cells. But like you really get comfortable with the super deadly encounters that you're going to have. Of course, the reason I'm struggling with it now is I thought when you kill the boss, you would be able to skip that boss. I think maybe that's still possible, but I have not found the way. So I had killed the first boss, got to the second boss, died, and then they just sent me back before the first boss. And I'm like, this is why I'm so bad at roguelikes. They want me to be perfect for like 7 stages, and it just almost never works for me. So that is the tough part. But definitely check out Astral Ascent. I think it's probably one of the better roguelikes. It might be better than Dead Cells. And I don't usually say that much.
Looking at the gameplay right now, it's looking impressive.
Astral Ascent, that game came out a couple years ago, right? That sounds
this
familiar.
came out in 23. I think it came out in 23.
Yeah, if I say it,
yeah, it's not.
Jubei,
It's like a year old.
Did that game ever come to Game Pass, Jubei? That sounds
Astral Ascent. Actually, hold up.
It sounds very familiar.
Now that you mention, bro.
Yeah.
Now that you mention that,
I
It
say,
came out last
played
November,
this.
so it's not even a year old.
yeah, I could have swore it was in Game Pass. Like when you
Hold on.
when you said it, it clicked for me. I was like, ah.
I think Astro Set is a gem.
I've never seen
it's
it, but
games
it
like
looks
this.
really good.
Yeah, it's games like this and Dead Cells and what's Housemarque's game again? Those three
Returnal?
titles make. Thank you, yeah, Returnal. It's those three games that make me go like, I just got to try a little bit harder, and maybe I could really get into roguelikes. But usually, I'm just off put by having to like be perfect and having to go to the next stage and then be perfect and go to the next stage. But Astro Sense gameplay is just the loop is so strong. So shout out to them. Yeah, so they got a new DLC character that you can play as. Her name is Yamat. I haven't even bought the DLC yet. I just really just enjoying the base game and enjoying the main girl. I only have the main girl and like there's a fighter guy that kind of like reminds me of Ken from Street Fighter. But I'm hoping to get the gun guy because I think that's going to be like one of my mains. Yeah. And then of course Stellar Blade. So it'll be those three until Wukong at some point, I think.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, what do y'all say over there in Ponyland? Support the devs.
Support your devs. Buy the game.
Support the devs. Zero, where can people find you, but also where can they find us? Oh, we lost Zero.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Okay.
And actually, you went out on me for a little bit, so I was like, wait. But of course, guys, Zero X386 or Zero.exe. I didn't get to tell you I was playing when we started. But I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories too.
Oh, you know what? You didn't. You didn't tell us you were playing Monster
Yeah.
Hunter Stories, but you did mention Monster Hunter during your intros.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask why is no one touching that game.
Isn't that only on Switch?
No,
Stories?
it came
On
to
PlayStation.
PlayStation. It came to PlayStation finally. It was initially on Switch, and I played the first one
Okay.
on Switch. It's a fun little game. If not, if nothing else, it is Pokemon-esque. In which you capture the famous little Monster Hunter monsters and use them to fight other Monster Hunter monsters with a cool little story in there. It's definitely a beginner level RPG. I think it's only about 30 hours or so. But it is quite delightful and a good time. So like I do recommend it. It does not require much of your time. And it's simple, it's not too difficult, it's not punishing. But after watching all these Monster Hunter videos, I was like, I just need something else from the Monster Hunter universe. And I didn't want to start up Rise. I just felt like that would be too much of a commitment right now. So Stories is the sort of equalizer for me. So yeah, play it, and that would be pretty much it. Until Wukong drops tomorrow, and then I'll be playing that. I'm gonna do my bet. Does anybody know how long it's supposed to be?
I'm not.
They said like
not sure.
30-ish hours. Like
30 hours. Okay.
It's not bad.
I would be interested if I focused up. Could I finish this game by the next time the show starts?
Should be able to finish it in a week.
I should be able to. I'm gonna put forth. I'm
Well,
gonna put forth 100% full effort to finish this game.
All right, so I looked it up. I'm on Game Rant. For the critical path, which is just only doing the key stuff and nothing else, 20 to 25 hours. To 100% the game is 50 hours. 40 to 50. 40 to 50 to do everything in the game.
100% will be a question mark until I see exactly what it requires.
A standard,
also, I just rarely.
A standard playthrough is a standard playthrough is 30 to 35 hours. They say
that works for me. So I'm gonna put forth a good effort to try to finish that game completely by the next time we talk.
Okay. You better
but of course,
right at the top of the hour.
Yeah, of course, outside of me, you can please check us out, Vitamin G Podcast. Pretty much all where you listen to all of your favorite podcasts: Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of them, guys. I don't know. I'm sure you have one. Go listen to us on there because I'm sure we're there. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you guys next time. And once again, thank you guys for getting your weekly dose of that vitamin G. We are out. Peace.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All
Vitamin G.
alone.
Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside all alone.
Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Hey. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. all alone.
Hey, you rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All
Vitamin
alone.
G. Discussing that heat in the street, and we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G.